Let your breathing slow. Let the gentle rise and fall of your chest become the soft, rhythmic swell of a calm, endless sea. You are safe. You are still. And tonight I am going to take you on a quiet journey, not on a loud, mechanical ship, but on a beautiful, silent vessel of wood and fiber and human ingenuity. We are going to sail across the vast, peaceful Pacific Ocean, guided not by a compass, not by a map, but by the stars, the waves, and the quiet, ancient wisdom of the master wayfinders. The year is sometime in the distant past, long before the first European ships ever entered this great ocean. The Polynesian people have already been sailing this vast blue world for thousands of years. They have explored and settled every habitable island across millions of square miles of open water. And they have done it not with instruments of metal and glass, but with a profound spiritual understanding of the natural world. Imagine you are on a vaka, a double-hulled voyaging canoe. It is a beautiful, elegant craft, perhaps 60 feet long. The two hulls are carved from single, massive logs of buoyant wood, and they are lashed together with a strong, flexible platform of wooden beams and woven coconut fiber rope. The deck is smooth and warm under your bare feet. The air is filled with the clean, sharp scent of the salt sea and the faint, sweet smell of dried pandanus leaves from the woven sail mats. The great triangular sail above you, made of finely woven matting, billows gently in the steady trade wind, carrying you silently across the infinite deep blue water. The only sound is the gentle, rhythmic slap of the waves against the wooden hulls, and the soft, steady hum of the wind in the rigging. You are a young apprentice, perhaps 15 years old. You have been chosen out of all your family to learn the sacred art of wayfinding, and your teacher is sitting beside you, an old man, perhaps your grandfather, with a deeply lined and weathered face, calm, dark eyes that seem to hold the entire ocean inside them, and hands that are as steady and as knowledgeable as the stars themselves. He is a master navigator, a wayfinder, and his classroom is this vast, silent, beautiful sea. For many days now, you have been sailing. Your destination is a small, distant island, still several days away. There are no compasses, no sextants, no radios. The master navigator has not looked at a single physical chart. Instead, his maps are the stars in the sky, the feel of the water on his palm, and the accumulated chanted memories of 1,000 ancestors. Today, he is teaching you one of the most beautiful and foundational concepts of his art, the star compass. He gestures with a quiet, open hand towards the eastern horizon where the first, pale blush of dawn is just beginning to appear. He speaks in a soft, low, rhythmic murmur. He explains that the horizon is not a simple empty line. It is a circle divided into 32 specific houses, and each house is the exact known rising or setting point of a particular brilliant star. He points to the spot where the bright star Sirius, A-Ah in your language, will rise in a few months. He traces a line and names the place where the brilliant red star Aldebaran Ta'urua meets the sea. He shows you that by knowing which star rises over which point, a navigator can hold the canoe on a straight course across 100 miles of open, featureless water. It sounds impossibly complex, but the master's teaching is gentle and patient. It is woven into a quiet, rhythmic song. He begins to chant very softly, a deep, resonant melody. His voice rises and falls with the rhythm of the waves. The chant names the stars in order, following their path around the entire circle of the horizon. From the Pleiades, the tiny, clustered jewels of Matariki, to the steady, anchoring light of the North Star. The chant is not just a lesson. It is a sacred ancient poem. It is a conversation with the sky. You close your eyes, and you let the words wash over you, memorizing not just the names, but the very feeling of each star, the precise moment and place it will appear, the color of its light. Later in the morning, the master continues your education by focusing on the sea itself. He motions you to the side of the canoe. He lies down on his stomach on the warm, smooth deck, and he gestures for you to do the same. You lie beside him, your chin resting on the edge of the wooden hull. The warm, clear water is just inches from your face. You can smell the deep, clean, slightly metallic scent of the deep ocean. He tells you to put your hand in the water. You let your fingers trail in the cool, silky sea. He tells you to feel. Not to think, but to feel. At first, you feel nothing but the simple, gentle rush of water past your fingers. But he tells you to be patient, to be still. And slowly, after a long, quiet while, you begin to feel it. The swell. The deep, powerful, rhythmic, breathing pulse of the ocean. It is not a surface wave. It is a long, slow, steady rising and falling of the entire body of the sea. The master starts to explain in a soft, guiding whisper. He tells you he can feel several different swells at the same time. There is a deep, consistent swell coming from the southeast, driven by the constant trade winds. He can feel it pressing gently but firmly against the right side of the canoe. But he can also feel a much older, fainter, reflected swell bouncing back from a distant island, hidden far beyond the horizon. He can feel the entire geography of the unreachable ocean, all from the way the water moves against his open palm. He can feel where the water is being disturbed, and where it is undisturbed and in the quiet, invisible pattern of the swells, he can find his path. Another day, the teaching is focused on the sky and the sea. The master points. A small white seabird, a fairy tern, is flying with a slow, lazy, deliberate grace. It passes directly over the canoe. This is not a random bird. The master tells you it is a navigator just like you. He explains that a bird like this will always fly directly home to its nest in the evening. A circling, hungry, noisy flock of birds might mean a feeding ground, a place far from land. A ship following birds is a ship that will starve. But a single, quiet, determined bird flying with purpose as the sun begins to set is a beacon. The master watches it until it is a single, white, vanishing point on the horizon, and he adjusts the course of the canoe by a single, subtle degree, a silent, respectful tribute to a fellow mariner who knows the way home. At a quiet moment, he calls you to sit beside him. He takes a simple object from a woven bag. It is a stick chart. A delicate, complex lattice of thin, dried coconut palm ribs, tied together with fine, strong cord, with tiny, smooth, white cowrie shells tied at the intersections. The shells are the islands. The curved, woven ribs are the patterns of the ocean swells, how they bend and reflect around the islands. There is a straight main rib, representing the strong, dominant trade wind swell. Another curved rib shows how another strong swell is deflected by a distant atoll. To an untrained eye, it looks like a beautiful, artistic pattern. But to the master, it is a physical, three-dimensional map of an ocean that has no landmarks. You are learning that while the modern world writes its knowledge in ink on paper, your ancestors have woven their wisdom into thread and shell and wood. It is not just a map. It is a beautiful, tangible memory. As dusk falls, the sky performs its silent nightly magic. The sun sets, a breathtaking silent painting of fiery orange and a deep soft crimson. The first brilliant stars begin to appear, reflecting perfectly in the now calm, dark sea. The canoe seems to float not on water, but in a vast, silent, star-filled universe. The master points out the Southern Cross and how it changes its position through the night. You lie on the deck, settled among the crew on simple woven mats, wrapped in a light, soft cloth. The sea is calm. The stars are out. You are profoundly, utterly at peace. This is navigation without a compass, and it is the most beautiful, peaceful, and profound way to travel the world.